Hi, and a very good evening to all present. May I see how many people are there with me today? Am I audible? Am I visible? I'm not being able to understand. My setup has changed a little bit, and so I am not in a position to understand whether I am audible, whether I am visible. So I need some hint from you all. Dr. Archana Tanwar, good evening, Dr. Tanwar. Gagandeep, hello. Priya, hi. Priya, please let me know if I am properly audible and visible. Harpinder, good evening. Harpinder, good evening. Inder, Reena, how are you? Reena, so today I'm here with your topic that is voices. Deepman, hello. Anita, hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Reena, for this um, response that I'm both audible and visible. Yes, I'm doing great. I hope you all are doing well. So today we will start with something which says about voice, whether it is a passive voice or it is a active voice in English language, in writing, in communication, in oral. I always ask you all to use active voice because that is how it should be done. So whenever you are writing something, whenever you are doing something, make sure that you do it in active voice, but at the same time you also need to know that what is a passive voice. Hi Shiv Kumar, hi Sumit Gurnani, Dolly, hello Priyanka, Anita, Dharampal, all of you, right? All of you are here. Shiv Kumar, hi, all of you. So I will eat my lunch. I will eat my lunch. The lunch will be eaten by me. I believe you can understand what I mean to say here. I believe you can understand what I mean to say here. मैं क्या बोलना चाह रही हूँ शायद आपको पता चल रहा है. Active voice and passive voice. So what is the active voice? The active voice is I am attending a session, right? I am attending a session, and the passive is a session would be attended by me, right? Okay, so for the new names which I can see here, just let me tell you, this is Parmita Dhar. I'm live from Kolkata for this SKT University Facebook Live on spoken English, communication skills, and personality development, along with soft skills, right? So, with that, we come to our very important thing, that is the topic for today, that is active and passive voice. So, in say for example, Rama helps Hari, and Hari is helped by Rama. Rama helps Hari, and Hari is helped by Rama. Right? Object plus verb plus subject. Right? In active voice, the subject comes first. In passive voice, the subject comes at the later. So it will be seen, if we try to understand both the sentences, we will find that the meaning which is expressed is same in both the cases. The meaning which is expressed is same in both the cases. Okay, but how we are doing it, we are changing it. Hi Aliza, hi Hari Singh. Anu Kamra, good evening, nice to see you. So if we see the definition of active voice, then what can we say? A verb is in the active voice when it form shows that the person or the thing denoted by the subject does something, or in other words, it is the doer of the action. right? The active voice is so called because the person denoted by the subject acts. So there is an active verb which is being used in active voice. A verb in the passive voice, on the other hand, when it forms, shows, say for example, if I give you an example like Savitri is loved by her dog Tommy. Tommy loves Savitri. Tommy, comma, the dog loves Savitri. Savitri is loved by her dog Tommy. So in this case, this is called the passive voice because the person or the thing denoted by the subject is not active but passive. I'll give you a few examples. Say for example, in simple present tense, take and takes. Take and takes is active. Taken, am taken, is taken, are taken is passive. फिर से if I want to tell you again, is taken, are taken, is take or takes is active, and is taken, are taken is passive. Okay, am I clear to all of you? Why did your brother write such a letter? If I say this, why did your brother write such a letter? What will you say? What will you say? Why did your brother write such a letter? What will you say? Hi Manish, how are you? So let me share a blank page with you all, and we will be able to understand what is active and what is passive voice. I do not have a PPT for you today because this is something which needs to be understood through writing. So if I say, why did your brother write such a letter? So what kind of is it visible to all of you? I'll just make it a bit bigger. So there's a question mark. So is it visible to all of you? And what would be the passive of it? What would be the passive of it? The passive of it will be, why was such a letter written by your brother? Right? So this is the difference between active and passive. Again, let me give you another example. Say, the postman opened the gate. The gate was opened by the postman. Right? So here you see the subject is doing the action. Right? In the next sentence, what is happening? The gate was opened by the postman. So the object comes at first and the subject goes later on. So this is what is the difference between active and passive voice. The more you practice about it, the more you will understand it. So Rajinder Bisu, you're writing no ma'am. No ma'am in what context? If you can kindly clarify, that would be easier for me to understand. That would be easier for me to understand. Right? Yes, the gate was opened by the postman. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Reena Chaudhary. You are absolutely correct. So, in simple past tense, it is the subject, the past participle, and the object when it comes to active voice. Okay. So the three basic rules of active voice are what? The subject becomes the object and the object becomes the subject. The subject becomes the object becomes the subject. Use third form of verbs such as is, am, are, was, were, being, been, as per the tenses in passive voice. Rajendra Bisu, I understand there's a network problem. I believe there's a network problem from my side as well. So we have to actually adjust for today's class, right? So the third form of verb is used as, am, are, was, were, being, right? As per the tenses in the passive voice, right? Active pronoun changes to passive pronouns, like I will start a new business. So I is an active pronoun, right? I will start a new business. I is an active pronoun. Okay? What will happen when it becomes a passive voice? What happens when passive voice becomes? No, I mean it is being changed into passive voice. Can you please tell me? Yeah, hi Dravir Moria, good evening. It's fine, not an issue. Pooja Vishnoi, hi Pooja. Yeah. So what will happen? What will happen? What did I say? I will start a new business. So in passive, it will become a new business would be started by me. So I becomes what? I becomes me. I becomes me, as in I was saying to you that the active pronoun becomes a passive pronoun. Our business would be started by me. Our new business will be started by me, not the, right? Dolly Yadav is absolutely right. Monica and Reena Chaudhary very well try, but then there's a little bit of and the error. We will learn about all these things more and more and more over each day of the class, because each day we practice. You know what is happening? Like every day you are sitting here, you're trying to learn something, you're being able to listen to something, right? And that is what is very, very important. That is the exposure I wanted you people to have when it comes to English learning, right? So that is it. Active and passive voice is something which we will learn over the time. So what is the voice of verb, right? The voice of verb communicates whether the subject in the sentence has performed or gotten the activity. There are two types, we all know, active and passive. Again, for the sake of repetition, I'm repeating it. When an activity is performed by the subject, is communicated by the action word, it is an active voice. I am taking a class. I am taking a class. A class is being taken by me. A class is being taken by me. That is a passive voice. Why being? Why being? Because it is present continuous. B-E-I-N-G. Because it is present continuous. Isn't it? Right? And when the activity communicated by the action word is gotten by the subject, it is a passive voice. It is a passive voice. Passive voice is utilized when the practitioner of the activity isn't known. The class is being taken by me. Absolutely. Absolutely. I changes to me. Right. So, when the activity communicated by the action word is gotten by the subject, it is passive voice. It is passive voice, right? The passive voice is utilized when the practitioner of the activity isn't known to the focal point of the sentence, is on the activity and not on the subject. So the focal point is activity. I am taking a class is being taken by me. So the subject, which is me, is not the focal point. Mohan sings a song. A song is sung by Mohan. Sita reads a book. A book is read by Sita. Read, read, read. It is the same spelling. Keep this in mind. He writes a letter. A letter is written by him. She plays cricket. Cricket is played by her. She sells book. Books are sold by her. I made some tea. Tea has been made by me. Yeah? We changes to us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? In active voice, when it is present simple tense. Again, let me share my Word doc with you. It would be easier for me to make you understand. Okay. Okay, my dear students. Say, for example, when it is present simple tense. Present simple tense. So what happened? What happens there? Subject plus verb plus object. Right? When, say for example, he writes a letter. He writes a letter, right? This is the passive, the active one, right? And the passive is what? What is the passive? The passive is a letter is written by him, right? Here what is happening? Here what is happening? It is object plus is or am or say are, whatever, plus the verb plus subject. Okay? Okay? Am I clear? Am I clear? So these are the various ways we can actually understand, we can actually learn theoretically, but let us learn in a more with a more practical approach. For example, I, inactive, becomes me in passive. Okay, we, inactive, becomes us in passive. He becomes him. She becomes her. They becomes them. Okay. You remains you. You remains you. It remains it. Some simple ideas and tricks that you got to know, right? Before the subject in active voice, in passive voice, sorry. Before the subject in passive voice, use by. A letter is written by Rajesh. Rajesh is writing a letter. A letter is written by Rajesh. Rajesh is writing a letter. A letter is written by Rajesh. So what am I doing here? What am I doing? I am trying to use a by before the subject. Before the subject. Okay. So this is one thing which we need to keep in mind in case of active voice, right? It, yes, it and you unchanged. Absolutely. Thank you for understanding it so fast and quick, right? So it and you remains unchanged. Okay, so this is about active and passive voice, a little bit about active and passive voice. The more you practice, the more you learn about it. So let me give you a few sentences. And you can actually understand how to do it. We elected Balu as the captain. We elected Balu as the captain. Let me write it for you. It would be easier. Okay. Just a sec. We elected Balu as the captain. Right? Right? Am I clear to all of you? What kind of a sentence is this? What kind of a voice is this? To be more precise, what kind of a voice is this? It is an active voice, isn't it? So how do we make it passive? You may please tell me about that. Nishant Sidhua, yeah. Balu is elected by us as a captain. Yes. Right? Or Balu is elected as a captain by us. Again, the subject goes at the end. Right? Balu is elected as a captain by us. Okay. Am I clear and am I being understandable to all of you? Did you all understand what I'm trying to say? Do you all understand what I am trying to say? Okay, another one. He was refused admittance. He was refused admittance. What kind of a voice is this? What kind of a voice is this? Sorry, let me share the screen. He was refused admittance. What kind of a voice is this? Tell me. Tell me. It is a passive voice. Right? Right, my dear? Now, make it an active one. No. It is a passive one. He was refused. Oh, yes. It is my mistake. I am very sorry. It is an active voice. So how do we make it passive? How do we make it passive? How do we make it passive? Come on, tell me. Admittance was refused to him. Okay, let me write it for you. So to make it passive, what do we write? Admittance was refused to him. Isn't it? है कि नहीं बोलो? Admittance was refused to him. Right? Okay. So these are a few examples of active and passive voice that I had for you. If you have something, you can please write it in the chat box. We can try how to deal with those. We can actually try how to deal with those. No, Reena. Ma'am, we will not use by. No, we will not use by, because in this particular sentence, he was refused admittance. It is there is no way where we can use by. There is no way where you can use by. Where do you? So admittance was refused to him. Admittance was refused to him. That is the passive one. Am I clear to all of you? Please tell me. I am in a position where my network is very poor today. I'm getting everything so late that I just cannot tell you. But never mind, these are all part of our day-to-day stuff. Okay, where we use be, being. Let me give you an example. I have been to London. Right? So we are using been. So in passive, there are many sentences where we can use all these things. I was taught French by a French lady. Right? I was being taught French. French was being taught to me by a French lady. Am I clear? Yes, being is to continue. Absolutely. Being is to continue. What I suggest you all is to, you go through your books, you go through the various worksheets available on the internet on active and passive voice, and you take 2-3 days time And then in some class, maybe during the weekend, this week or Friday or Saturday, whenever, we can always discuss a little bit more about active and passive voice, right? Because, once you start solving, you learn more about it. Because theoretically, as I told you, grammar is not to be taught theoretically. I'm just trying to give you a brief idea, a kind of brush up regarding the basics of grammar. Once you start doing it from your own end, you will be able to learn more about it. You will come across challenges, you will come across areas where you are not being able to do it well, and then we will do about it, right? Am I clear to everyone? Shall I, with your permission, move on to the next topic for the day? We are going to watch a movie tonight. It is an active voice. And what would be the passive voice? Rekha. Rekha is, I believe, Rekha ji is a employer of the university, SKD University. Rekha ji, बताइए, उसका passive क्या होगा? Right, a movie is going to be watched by us tonight. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, right? So this is about active and passive voice. This is about active and passive voice. Am I clear to all of you? I think I am. But whenever you get stuck up, and in this, at this context, let me tell you one more thing. That is, whenever, whatever grammar portions we have covered, the language portion we have covered, you please go through those and come back if you have any query, right? You can write to me about any query. I'm there to sort it out for you. At least we can discuss and try to understand. If not once, if it doesn't happen at once, we take two days time, we take 5 days time. Not an issue, but the only concern for all of us in this program, which is being done by SKT University, is to make you understand, right? Now let me come to the area which I really like to do, that is my communication skills development. And I told you that there are various types of communication, like intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, group communication, hi Sadhvi, group communication, this communication, that communication, mass communication. And I also told you that silence is a very important type, is a very important means of communication. Okay, is a very important means of communication, right? So let us understand how silence is a means of communication. In reality, actually, silence can be a very, very effective communication tool. A very effective communication tool. When can you keep silent and say a lot of things? When can you keep quiet and say a lot of things? When you are angry, when you are emotionally in a disturbed situation. Emotionally disturbance doesn't mean that you are always sad and angry and grief-stricken. Once you are very happy, you also make miscommunications. You also make errors in communication, right? So miscommunication also actually makes error in communication. Okay. So we got to understand, where do we need to keep quiet? In today's scenario, one thing is very, very important. That is what? That is your emotional quotient, EQ. Emotional quotient, EQ. Now, what is EQ? How you react to a certain situation which is not a daily average situation for you, right? How do you react to a certain situation which is not a daily average situation for you? How do you react when you see a very sad, a very sad movie? How do you react when you get a very good news suddenly, unexpectedly? Are you a balanced person then? Are you a balanced person then? Can you have control? Can you hold on to your communication, your emotions at that point of time? If yes, absolutely fantastic. If yes, absolutely fantastic. If no, then what? जहां पे जो बोलना नहीं है, जहां पे जो एक्सप्रेस करना नहीं है, अगर आप उसको कर देते हैं, अगर आप अपने आंसुओं को रोक नहीं पाते हैं, not everybody will understand the value of our tears. तो हम क्या करें? What can we do then? Right? What can we do then? We can actually think about it. Am I clear to all of you, my dear boys and girls, and whosoever is attending? So silence is simply about conveying a message without anything. Silence is simply about conveying a message, and sometimes, please keep this in your mind, and sometimes silence is more effective than so many words, so many body languages, moving of hands, gestures, postures, etc., etc. Silence is always, at times, depending upon the situation, is very, very expressive in itself. Is very, very expressive in itself, right? This is number one. Number two, it is better to keep quiet. It is better to maintain silence than to speak something which is incorrect, which might have a long-term impact on your relationship, on your activities, on your performance, so on and so forth. Right? Am I clear to all of you? I think I am. Okay. So communication is simply about conveying a message. We all know that we convey one message from us to someone else. And sometimes silence can do that better than any other words. Right? So which are the areas in where, or rather situations, I would not say areas, which are the situations where silence can actually come up as a very, very effective tool of communication? Which are the areas? Silence means what? Silence means absence of noise. Silence means absence of noise. But in communication, it is seen as absence of speech. So silence doesn't mean I will not use my body language. Of course, I can use my body language, right? If you go to the dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary, Merriam Dictionary, you will find that silence means absence of any noise. But in communication, when we are communicating with someone or the other, what does silence mean? Silence means not using any spoken word. Not using any spoken word. So the absence of speech doesn't mean that the person is not communicating. Of course, the person is communicating, but the person has chosen not to talk. The person has chosen not to talk. Silence is very powerful form of communication depending on the situation. The meaning of silence differs on each occasion. For example, if you go to a church, if you go to a church, if you go to a gurdwara, right? Do you feel like talking there? Do you feel like talking there? गुरुद्वारा में जाके, चर्च में जाके, कोई मेडिटेशन हॉल में जाके क्या आपको बात करना अच्छा लगता है? नहीं. When you go to a funeral, somebody has expired, you go to meet the family members of that person. Do you feel like talking there? No, you do not. You do not. Because there, we try to console. I see so many people write rest in peace in Facebook. फेसबुक में लिखते हैं, व्हाट्सएप में लिखते हैं, और कहाँ कहाँ इंस्टाग्राम में लिखते हैं, राइट? बट द थिंग इज, of course, that is a prayer we can do for the bereaved soul. But at the same time, if we can just give them a kind of a understanding that I am there with you, that is enough. That is enough. कि हम आपके साथ है, इस कठिन परिस्थिति में हम आपके साथ है. वहां पे कुछ लिखना, कुछ बोलना, nothing is important. Rather, it is at times it is very, very disgusting, right? But being supportive, you go and stand with the person, be with him or her for some time, do something for them, at least give them a glass of water. That is important. And there you don't need to talk. When you're absolutely happy, well, why am I giving you all negative examples? Let me give you a positive example. When you are absolutely happy, you should wait for some time. Let the happiness, let the emotion, right, sink in. Let the emotion sink in, and then only you can proceed. Then only you can proceed, right? Because in that, when our hormones are not in the right place and we are bubbling with energy and all, what happens then? What happens then? We might make a mistake there. We end up making mistakes there. ज्यादा खुश हो गए, बहुत सारा प्रॉमिस कर लिया. ज्यादा दुखी हो गए, ऐसा लगा कि नो, मेरे साथ कुछ होगा ही नहीं. So to bring a balance, silence helps us to balance our emotional turmoil, emotional imbalance, right? Silence helps us to balance that, right? And that is why at times silence is important. When you go to give a presentation, आपको कहीं पे प्रेजेंटेशन देने के लिए बुलाया गया है, कॉलेज में, कहीं पे भी, राइट? आपसे एक सवाल पूछा जा रहा है जिसका जवाब आप जानते हैं, लेकिन तुरंत आपके दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा है. You do know the answer, or if you think for a while, you will be able to give the answer, right? तो वहां पे क्या होगा? अब 2 मिनट, you keep quiet for some time. Give yourself time. Let your thought process be sorted. Okay? And in the process, you think of the answer. लेकिन if you think कि नहीं, अगर मैं तुरंत आंसर नहीं दूंगी तो लोगों को लगेगा कि मुझे पता नहीं है, ये गलत बात है. That is a wrong thing. ये गलत बात है. क्यों गलत बात है? Because क्यों गलत बात है? Because when we try to be absolutely fast, we fumble. Fumble means मतलब अटक जाता है बात, right? We don't get the right kind of a word. Vocabulary हम लोग का इधर उधर हो जाता है, हमें exact word नहीं पता चलता है, नहीं आता है दिमाग में कि क्या बोले हम लोग, right? So in recent years, researchers have suggested that silence is not simply absence of noise or doesn't mean nothing, but constitutes a part of communication as important as speech. The context of a situation defines the power and message of silence. When you go to a hospital, right, you have to be quiet. Maybe there is a newborn in your family. You are very, very happy to see the child. But then you have to keep in mind, maybe in the next bed, there's someone who is very ailing. So you have to give respect. किसी ने भी लिखा था कि silence is to give respect. Absolutely. You have to give respect to the other person's space, to the other person's situation. And in such a situation, silence is very important. Okay? Constructive silence moves a conversation and discussion forward. When you are quiet, आप लोगों की बातों को सुन सकते हैं, समझ सकते हैं. When you are not quiet, you know, listening skills हम लोगों ने किया था. For listening skills, silence का होना बहुत बहुत जरूरी है. Ever tried, ever failed? Try again, fail better. Yes, of course. See, if you try, you will win, you will pass, or you fail. If you pass, good enough. If you fail, you gain experience. Simple. Nothing big. I mean, it's okay. So, and what happens when it is in destructive silence? So when I'm saying silence is a very good, important tool of communication, and if you think that, okay, from now onwards, I will keep quiet for every situation, then there are times when silence doesn't work even. आप करते जा रही हूँ, आप कुछ response नहीं दे रहे मुझे. So the communication process cannot proceed. The communication process cannot proceed. Isn't it? So in that case, silence is very important. Silence is very important, right? Constructive silence moves a conversation or discussion forward. Destructive silence shuts down communication and creates barriers that discourage speakers from expressing their thoughts. अगर मैं बात करते ही जाओ, and you know, I keep on seeing your comments and all. If I don't see your comments, it will not motivate me to speak. मुझे लगेगा कि भाई मैं तो एकदम दीवारों से बात कर रही हूँ. So ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपको लगे कि दूसरा आदमी दीवार जैसा है, ना इधर का बात करता है ना उधर का बात करता है, और आप भी उसको वो फील मत दो. Right? So that is it. That is there. Destructive silence shut down communication, creates barriers, and discourages speakers from expressing their thoughts. Thus, silence can be leaden and they can be golden. Silence is at times golden, at times it is not. We have all experienced various negative silence. We have all experienced various positive silence also. Right? Thus, we can say that silence is an important tool of communication, but to use silence as an important tool of communication, we have to understand where and how are we going to do so. कब और कहाँ. अच्छा, एक कम्युनिकेशन क्लास में बोला गया था कि हाँ, साइलेंस होने से बहुत अच्छा होगा, तो चलो चुपचाप ही रहते हैं, क्लास में कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं. तो it's okay. I mean, it's not okay to be silent then. When you are supposed to speak, you have to speak. When you are supposed to talk, you are supposed to act. You have to do that. Right? So keeping the situation in mind, I have always told everyone that communication is not 2 + 2 4 for a formula of addition. Communication is a situational activity where you have to see, where you have to find, you have to understand the need, the crisis, the demand of the situation, and then understand how to proceed with that. Communication is always a very, very dynamic process. कभी वो रुकता नहीं है. It doesn't stand anywhere. There is no stagnation in communication, right? So whenever we are communicating, we have to understand कि मुझे अभी क्या करना चाहिए. ये कोई हमें बोल नहीं सकता. I can always tell you कि don't talk so much. There are times when you can also keep quiet. Silence is better than unnecessary drama. But drama is a part of our life, especially when we see media, we see so much of drama. So never mind. But I do agree with you, Manu Verma, that silence is better than unnecessary drama, right? So in this entire process, we have to understand one very important lesson, that in communication, there is nothing, no rules, no regulation. It is only your understanding, your perspective, how you want to proceed with the process. बोझा गानो? समझ में आया? समझ में आया? अभी आप पूछिए, आपका क्या सवाल है? I am here to give you the answers. You can now ask me about your questions. So, Monica, yes, ma'am. Kanchan, Sony, right, ma'am. Okay, fine. Is that all for today? Tell me if you have any other query. Tomorrow I'll be starting with you yet another very important topic of communication. Tomorrow I will do a little bit of communication, not grammar, but what are the other grammar areas you people have asked me to do? What are the other grammars? भाई मैं सोच रही हूँ कल कौन सा टॉपिक करेंगे हम लोग. Okay, let me tell you कल कौन सा टॉपिक करेंगे. I'll just tell you. कल हम लोग करेंगे. Tomorrow we will do direct and indirect speech. Okay. Fair enough. But tomorrow we will do the barriers of communication, जो मैंने पहले क्लास में आप लोगों को बताया था, लेकिन how to overcome those barriers. Barriers means रुकावटें. Yes, speech. I understand. रुकावटें. क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हमें कम्युनिकेशन करने में आती है, जैसे कि language, learning the language is also a kind of a barrier. Determiners, and we will do two things. That is one is like this one, how to overcome the barriers of communication, and number two, I'll be doing determiners for you, because thoda sa time, if we can actually find out, we will be able to do that, right? Okay, so that's it, and that's all from my side today. I'm leaving you 5-7 minutes early today. I hope that's fine with you. I'll be seeing you tomorrow sharp at 5 on the Facebook Live page of SKD University. In case you're attending the sessions, you will be given a certificate of participation. Okay, ma'am, your wish, my command. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you tomorrow again at 5 o'clock. Till then, take care and keep your eyes and ears open for English language communication. You two all have a very good day. Bye.